Hello, this is Lacquerography, and this is my wishlist video for May 2024's Hella Handmade Creations. I've already gone in and made a preliminary wish list of 12 items that are catching my eye this month. Let's dive right in and take a look at those 12 items that are currently in my wish list. So this first one up is by 1422 Designs, and it's called It's Certainly a Thrill. And it's listed here as a capped pre-order. And looking down here, it says that there's only 100 of these available. So what that means with a 100 cap is that there are only 100 of these items being made available before it's considered sold out. For this polish, 1422 Designs continues their theme, The Beatles, with a polish inspired by the song Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band. It's Certainly a Thrill as a tomato red base packed with color-shifting iridescent flakes and holographic flakes. So this one to me looks just so happy and summery. So the two things that really caught my eye with this polish are, first of all, that base color. The fact that it's a tomato red. I don't own very many tomato reds in my collection. So I'd really like to give a polish like this one a try. It has such a brightness and a happiness to it. I find that a lot of the other reds that I've been acquiring lately in my collection have been a little bit more on the cooler side of red, a little more perhaps cherry red with a touch of blue to it. So I know that this one will fill a bit of a hole there in my collection, and red is a bit of a newfound love of mine. I've only just recently started acquiring indie polishes in red. I just found that I wasn't wearing reds that often, mainstream or otherwise. So it hasn't really been until recently that I've been purchasing reds. The other thing are these flakes. I think that these flakes in this base just provide that perfect amount of intrigue and interest. I just think that this one is really a standout. And when I saw it right at the very top there of the homepage for Hella Handmade Creations this month, it jumped out and grabbed my eye right away. So this one is a very strong contender this month. This one is by 1422 Designs. It's Certainly a Thrill. This next one up is actually a duo. And this one is by Baroness X. And the duo is Caffeine and Before the Bean. This one is also capped. And unfortunately at this point, the cap has not been listed for this one. So that's something that I'll have to watch out for in the remaining hours before the shop opens on May the 14th at 12:01 a.m. Eastern Time. If the cap is low, this one could be one that I'll have to purchase right when the shop opens. With this offering, Baroness X continues their Teas and Coffees series with polishes inspired by espresso. Caffeine is an espresso linear hollow with copper metallic pigment, and Before the Bean is a gold reflective topper with hollow and red orange to green shimmer. When I saw the names of the polishes in this duo, it was kind of an immediate add to wish list. I am an enormous coffee lover. In fact, I think it kind of makes up part of my being. I drink so much. It's probably not a great thing, but there you have it. But I am such a coffee lover, so right away this jumped right into my wish list. And then I looked a little bit deeper at what the offering was. So the fact that this one is an espresso linear hollow, I don't own that many linear hollow polishes, actually. I'm finding in my collection, I have a whole lot of scattered hollows, and I really love them, especially at this time of year, but really any time of year. I love the way they play in any kind of lighting, but especially in the sunlight. So the fact that this one is an espresso linear hollow, also with this copper metallic pigment, that's such an interesting addition there. But then there's that reflective topper. I am such a lover of reflective finish polishes. For me, it's not anything really about flash photography or anything like that that draws me in. In fact, I kind of never use any sort of flash or whatever. I just love the way that reflective glitter catches the light in any kind of situation. The sparkle really is unlike any other. So the fact that this one is a gold reflective topper, I know I don't own anything like that in my collection. So together, this duo really caught my eye even when I was diving deeper into the description. Just checking out another image over here. This one showcases, I think, the gold reflective topper a little bit better. It has a lightness to it, but it's clearly there. The top left over here is clearly that reflective topper on its own. And I think that it could be really versatile in my collection, and not owning anything like this, I think it's a very safe bet. And also as a coffee lover, still a safe bet. So this duo is by Baroness X, and the components of the duo are caffeine and Before the Bean. This next one up is by BCB Lacquers, and this one is called Dance by the Light of the Moon, and this one is a solar polish. This one is also a capped offering with only 300 of these available. BCB Lacquers continues their mythological creatures series with a polish inspired by fairies. Dance by the Light of the Moon is a light blue indoor to purple outdoor solar with blue-green purple iridescent flakes and fuchsia blue-green purple microchrome flakes. So there's a lot happening in this polish. Now, there's so much for me here that is appealing about this polish, but I'm not quite as sure about this polish for a few reasons. So first of all, the fact that this one is a solar polish, I've been enjoying, especially at work of all things, I've been loving thermals and solar polishes, and I don't actually own too many solar polishes at this point. So this one would be truly unique in my collection. I am an elementary teacher, and these color changing polishes, they're quite hilarious. I mean, they amuse me all the time, and that's really kind of the main thing. But it is quite funny sometimes when the kids kind of notice that, but your polish was purple. No, but now it's blue. And then when they can catch it in the transition state, like it's really quite funny. And it often ends up being kind of an impromptu science lesson or whatever about what's happening there chemically to create those changes. Yeah, primary students are so much fun. And so are these solar and thermal polishes. So for this one, I'm really enjoying the two different color states of this one as well. So I realize that thermal polishes do not last forever. That thermal reactive property does fade over time and eventually become dormant. And I understand that it's the same with solar polish as well. I haven't really had the opportunity to explore the lifespan of solar polishes very much. I don't own very many. I probably own like 3 or 4 in my collection at this point, but this one really is quite beautiful. Also, BCB Lacquers is a brand that I've been loving lately, and I've purchased not the entire series so far, but month upon month I have been taking a particular look at BCB Lacquers offerings for their mythological creatures series. I just find that there's been something about this series where this maker has been producing some really unique, eye-catching polishes that I haven't really seen before. So this one here would definitely be an excellent addition to my collection. I don't own many solar polishes, so that would be a lot of fun. I also know that I really enjoy the offerings by this maker. As it gets closer and closer to May 14th, I'll have to see how this one stacks up among other polishes in my wish list to see if this one remains a front runner. It is really beautiful though, and I think I would have a ton of fun with this polish no matter what state it is in. So this one is by BCB Lacquers, Dance by the Light of the Moon. This next polish up is by Bee's Knees Lacquer, Become the Art Yourself. And for this polish, there is no availability cap. So that means this maker at this point can produce as many of this polish as needed to fulfill the demand for this month's shop. With this polish, Bee's Knees Lacquer continues their series inspired by the book Belladonna. Become the Art Yourself is a grayed out blush with glowy pink shimmer and hollow flakes. Now for me, this one is not one that I have to think about too much. This type of colorway is one that I'm always drawn to. There's something about the grayed out nature of this rather neutral looking polish that just immediately caught my eye. I know that I'd be pulling a polish like this one all 4 seasons of the year and for a multitude of different kinds of occasions, whether it's for work or more dressy occasions, even possibly for more serious occasions. This polish I see as being highly versatile in my collection, a very safe bet. There's something about this sort of grayed out color that always catches my eye, and I do find that indie polish makers add that grayed out aspect to bases just unlike any other. So for all those reasons, this polish will surely be added to my cart. This one is by Bee's Knees Lacquer, Become the Art Yourself. This next polish up is by Cleona Cosmetics, and this one's called Ham. Cleona Cosmetics continues their celebrating iconic filmmaker Hayao Miyazaki series with a polish inspired by Ponyo. Ham is a salmon-tinted base packed with metallic teal microshards, hot orange yellow shifting iridescent flakes, green aqua shifting iridescent microflakes, and a holographic glitter. Wow, that was a mouthful. This polish can be worn on its own, built up in 2 to 3 layers, depending on your desired finish, or topped over a polish of your choice to bring the magic. And at this point, there's no cap for this polish. Now, this one is a really interesting one for me. This is completely unique to anything that I have in my collection, or actually anything that I've seen before. I love the idea of this polish's versatility. Right here, I think this shows off rather the lightness of it, how on me it would probably appear that this salmon tinted base would appear reasonably neutral and quite sheer. And then with this sparkle, I mean, it's so interesting. I could see myself really enjoying wearing this one on its own, but also layered. This one looks like a little bit of a bolder application of this one. Perhaps, I don't really know, but I would guess perhaps in about 3 coats to get a little bit more full coverage. It's such an interesting effect, and I would love to play around with layering this polish too. This one here also appears to be a little bit more densely applied, and it just seems so interesting. I've really seen nothing like this one. I think, again, much like the BCB Lacquers polish, I'll have to see how this one ends up ranking among others in my wish list to see if this one makes it in my final shopping cart. But I know that this is a brand that I know very well and that I love. Being a Canadian, this one is a Canadian brand. It's a brand that I purchased directly from on their own website on a number of occasions, and I enjoy following them on these collaboration websites as well. So I love Cleona Cosmetics, and I'm really intrigued by this highly unique offering. So this one is by Cleona Cosmetics, Ham. This next one up is by Cuticula, and this one is called Forgotten Lands. Cuticula continues their Disney Dreamlight Valley series with Forgotten Lands. Forgotten Lands has a deep violet jelly base with lime green gold shifting ultra chrome chameleon flakies, that's UCC flakes, and yellow, gold, green, blue, and purple pink shifting glass flakes. And at this point, there's no cap for this one. There was something for me about this purple jelly glow that's happening with this base color that immediately caught my eye. Again, I don't think I own anything at all quite like this one, that glowy violet jelly base and these really interesting flakes. I think that the layering of a polish like this in 2 to 3 coats would look absolutely stunning. I find that for whatever reason, I tend to be especially drawn to purples in May. Because right now I'm wearing more purples, I think this one really appealed to me. And I know that it is unique in my collection. I don't really own anything at all like this with the flakies and the jelly finish. I could see myself pulling a polish like this one in the summer and fall as well. There's something about it that I realize it's not entirely fall leaves looking, but there is something about the darkness of this look altogether that gives me a bit of a fall vibe. But I also think that considering that it's a jelly base and it appears to really glow in some of these swatches, I think that this one could play beautifully in the summer sun as well. So this one is by Cuticula, Forgotten Lands. This one is by Garden Path Lacquers, and it's called One Hand in My Pocket. And at this point, no cap for this polish. Garden Path Lacquers continues their Retro Toys series with polish inspired by Polly Pocket. One Hand in My Pocket has a delicate lavender jelly base and is accented with pink contrasting shimmer and pink orange iridescent flakes. Now I have to say, actually, I knew that Garden Path Lacquers was doing a Retro Toys series. I've been following it a little bit because I've been really enjoying a different type of finish by Garden Path Lacquers than this one, which is their kind of micro glitter finish. I've been keeping an eye on that. This one is not that, but it is part of the series that I've been following lately as well. And I just thought that this polish was very glowy and really quite interesting. It was the glow and also the interest of this one that was catching my eye. The other thing was the name of this one, One Hand in My Pocket. I'm aware of Polly Pocket. I never owned it or anything like that when I was growing up. But this polish, One Hand in My Pocket, immediately brought to mind fellow Canadian Alanis Morissette and that incredible song, One Hand in My Pocket, that was off Jagged Little Pill. I mean, just such an iconic song and album for my high school experience. And that immediately got me with this one. The name of that polish, One Hand in My Pocket, immediately got me for this offering. So not just the name, but also the look of this polish has this one on my wish list. Also the look of this one being kind of this lavender jelly look. I think I would get a lot of use out of this one. I could see myself wearing this one in spring, summer, even fall. Maybe not so much in the winter. I'm not exclusively a seasonal polish wearer, but for sure, spring, summer, perhaps even fall, it just really is a beautiful, glowy offering. And I don't know that I've really tried this type of finish by Garden Path Lacquers either. And I know that Garden Path Lacquers is a brand that I've been loving lately. So this one is by Garden Path Lacquers, One Hand in My Pocket. This next polish is by MJ Lacquer. It's so tasty too. This one is another capped offering with only 200 bottles of this being made available. MJ Lacquer continues their I Love Lucy series with a polish inspired by the famous Vita Mita Vegamin episode. Now that was a mouthful. It's So Tasty too is a green crelly with assorted UCC flakes, pink iridescent flakes, aurora shimmer, and a sprinkle of scattered holographic pigment. This is a sister polish to Dizzy Lizzy. Dizzy Lizzy is not a polish that I own, so I'd love to actually go back in social media and see if I can track down an image of Dizzy Lizzy as well. There was something so fresh about this one. The moment my eyes caught sight of this polish, I added it to my wish list. There was something about this sort of spring green shade and then the flakes within it that's everything my early spring heart desires. For most of my life, spring has been my favorite season. There's something about the world just blooming into life that has always seemed almost magical to me. And this polish, for me, embodies that feeling for the nails. I loved it the moment I saw it. So this was an instant add to wish list. And I think that this one is probably one of my top picks this month. I find that I'm also continuously impressed by this maker, MJ Lacquer, and I would absolutely love to start growing my very small collection that I have of their polishes. So this one is by MJ Lacquer. It's So Tasty too. This next one up is by Moonshine Manny, and this one is called Somebody That I Used to Know. This one is also a capped pre-order with only 200 of these being made available. With this polish, Moonshine Manny continues their one-hit wonder series with a polish from Gautier. Somebody That I Used to Know is a soft olive glowing with red, gold, green, iridescent shimmer and purple reflective glitter. Now, this is another series that I've been following quite closely. Music is so near and dear to my heart, also for my family as well. And this one-hit wonder, although actually I don't think my family thinks of them as one-hit wonders because we enjoy a lot of material from this artist, this one-hit wonder is definitely a favorite song in my family, and this polish stood out right away for that and also for its highly original look. This idea of this purple reflective glitter, I mean, I can't even really imagine how this one would look on my actual nails out and about in the world. Like, there's just something about this really interesting, kind of murky at first combination with the soft olive base, but then the iridescent shimmer and purple reflective glitter. I think this one would be show-stopping out in life. I think that the swatches here are really quite beautiful, but I think that in real life, this one would be really show-stopping. So for this one, for me, a lot of it is about the song, also the intrigue of this really interesting combination of components in this polish. I'm loving the look. And also Moonshine Manny is a brand that I haven't had the chance to purchase very much from, except really from this series. For all these reasons, this one is another one that's quite high on my wish list. The name of the polish, the song, the unique factor of this one, the intrigue factor that I think this one would look gorgeous in the sunlight, and also this brand. These are all reasons why This one is one of my top contenders as well on my wish list this month. Moonshine Manny is a brand that I've wanted to add more of to my collection. I don't own very many, and the ones that I own, I absolutely love. This polish is most likely coming home with me when the shop opens. This one is by Moonshine Manny, somebody that I used to know. This next polish up is by Paint It Pretty Polish, and it's called Iron Gauzy. This one is also a capped offering at only 100 of these available. Paint It Pretty Polish begins a new series inspired by favorite roller coasters. The first polish is inspired by the Iron Gauzy at Busch Gardens. Iron Gauzy has a light turquoise base with golden yellow-green shimmer. Now, Paint It Pretty Polish is another brand that I always keep a close eye on. Another Canadian brand. I am a Canadian, and it is from my home province as well, the province of Ontario, much like Cleona Cosmetics is. So these are two brands that I keep an eye out for every single month, and I try to support them whenever I love their offering. And this is an offering that I love. This one is so fresh, a really beautiful light turquoise base here. And then let's talk about this shimmer. I find that Paint It Pretty Polish creates shimmer polishes unlike any other. And this one just looks so dainty and beautiful and interesting. I really love everything about this one. And I'm kind of intrigued by this new series, Favorite Roller Coasters. I love roller coasters. I have to say I haven't gone on them very much in the last 10 years or so. So probably my threshold for them would be far less than when I was much younger. But I'd love to look this roller coaster up. I think I'm going to do a lot of learning as this roller coaster series advances through the months. So this one is a really beautiful, springy, fresh offering by Paint It Pretty Polish, Iron Gauzy. This next polish is by Rogue Lacquer, and it's called Captain. Rogue Lacquer continues the Peter Pan series with a polish inspired by Captain Hook. Captain is a black, red, and gold metallic flake bomb with a scattering of hollow flakes. No cap for this offering. This one is so interesting and unique. Again, I own nothing like this one. I know that Rogue Lacquer does flaky bombs so beautifully well. And this one, its unique factor, I think that I'm going to love it. I don't know what to say. I saw it and I thought, wow, this one will be such a cool addition to my collection. So this one, again, is quite high on my wish list. This one is by Rogue Lacquer, Captain. This next one up is by Watcha Indie Polish, and this one is called Gemini. This one, again, is capped at only 250 of these available. Watcha Indie Polish continues their Zodiac theme for this month's HHC. Gemini is an ultra chrome green, blue, violet with gold magnetic flakes. Now for me, I am a Gemini. Gemini is my Zodiac sign. So when I saw this offering, this one actually, again, was kind of an instant add to wish list. I think it's a beautiful polish though as well. But the main reason why this one's on my wish list is because this does reflect me and my Zodiac sign. Whenever possible, if it's attainable for me, I do try to collect polishes that represent things like my birthstone, my birth month, and also my Zodiac sign, or any other sort of significant things, not just for me, but also for my family. I always just find that it's something a little bit special, and I think that this polish also is a really special looking offering. The shifts in this ultra chrome polish look absolutely brilliant, and the fact that it has gold magnetic flakes, that actually sounds kind of interesting to me as well. It looks like a polish that perhaps you could magnetize if you would like, but also you don't necessarily have to. So this shifty polish is by Watcha Indie Polish, Gemini. So that's it for my way too large wish list this month for Hella Handmade Creations, May 2024. The shop opens this May on May 14th at 12:01 a.m. Eastern Daylight Time, and it remains open until May 21st at 11:59 p.m. Hawaiian Time. Now that store opening time I've been finding is quite important to me. A lot of my items are capped items, meaning that there's only a limited number available, and I have woken up in the morning at my 6 or 7 o'clock in the morning to get to work, and I've opened up the website and I've missed out on some of the polishes that I really wanted because of that 12:01 a.m. Eastern Daylight Time shop opening. So that one's something that I'm going to have to keep an eye on. Also, there is an overstock section in Hella Handmade Creations. Now, I didn't go into it purposely this month because I'm trying to limit myself. I already have too many on my wish list. But if you're interested in buying overstock items, those are items that are from previous months where there are some remaining. Sometimes those overstock items are available in the smallest of quantities, sometimes 5 or less items. So for items like those, it's pretty important to shop Hella Handmade Creations right when the shop opens at 12:01 a.m. Eastern Daylight Time. Otherwise, you are highly likely to miss out on some of those items. Some of them sell out in only minutes. So I'm wondering, are you planning on shopping Hella Handmade Creations this month? What items are catching your eye? Feel free to add all your comments and we can continue on the conversation. If you enjoy wishlist videos like this, please consider giving this video a like. It lets me know that this is the kind of content that you're interested in, and moving forward, I'll be sure to produce more content similar to this. As well, if you enjoy nail-related content, please consider subscribing. I try to release nail-related content as often as I possibly can, and by subscribing, you won't miss out on any of the fun. Thank you so much for joining me this month for this Hella Handmade Creations wish list. Happy shopping. Hopefully I'll see you again in the next one.